All right, welcome folks. This is Rob Taylor from Taylor Media. So glad you can join me. In this episode, we're going to be looking at setting up OBS Studio for recording YouTube videos for guys like you. That's right. You're over 50, maybe you're a little confused on the software, but in this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step on how to set this up, and it's going to be so easy. So stay with me and let's get into it. All right, here we are in OBS. And as you can see on the screen, I already have it set up for me, but we're going to start you off right from scratch. So the way this is set up, you have a preview window here, and then you have your output window here. And in the bottom, you have scenes, sources, your audio mixer, scene transitions, and then you have a few different options down here. You have your settings and streaming and recording. Today we're just going to look at just recording because this is going to be meant for YouTube. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create a scene. So you want to hit the plus button down here. We're going to create a scene and we're going to name this one OBS tutorial for today. And there we go. So we got already exists. So we'll give it another name, tutorial. Scene is like if you're doing a movie and you would have different scenes and you might have different cameras and different audio that you're going to be using. Maybe you have multi-cams. So think of this as a scene in a movie. And then over here you have your sources. So this is what we're going to select to get our audio and video. So the first thing we want to do is add, and we're going to bring in a video capture device. And we're going to name this, and in this case, I'm just going to put camera. And then you want to select your device. So your device is here. Now, for recording from a computer, you're usually going to have some type of capture card. In my case, it's the CamLink 4K. Once that comes up, you'll see that we now have something in the preview window. You're going to hit OK. And if you bring these arrows like this, you can shrink it down because you want to fit it into this window. So there we go. And drag it here. If it's not lining up exactly, if you hold your shift key, if you're on a Mac, you can do it separately this way, and you can do it any way you want. So we're going to drag that out. Beside it, you have transitions. So whatever you have set up here, if you hit transition, it's then going to display it on this side. Okay. So this gives us our camera. Now we need to bring in our microphone. So you're going to hit plus and audio input capture, and we'll just do microphone. And you want to select your microphone that you have installed on your computer. In my case, it's going to be the Wavelink Stream, and you hit OK. And down here, if we unhide all, now we have our audio coming across the speaker here. So there we go. We have our audio going. This here is going to adjust the volume of it. So I usually like getting it just so that it comes into the yellow a little bit. So there you go. You now have your camera and your microphone, and you would just hit start recording. But before we do that, we want to make sure that our settings and everything's okay. So we're going to go down to our settings, and you want to look at output is the one that we want to concentrate on. And we want to go to the recording tab here. Okay. So the top is standard. Okay. The next one is your recording path. This is where you're going to save your files. So if you bring up the browse, you can go find your drive, in my case here, videos. So project files, OBS, here we are, and then footage and OBS recordings, and hit open. So that gives us our path to save the video file when it's done. The next is our recording format. You're going to want to set this to MKV, Matroska video, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, if you have it set to the MKV, what it's going to do is if there's a problem when you're recording partway through and it crashes, when you start back up, it will actually leave right back off to the last place that you started recording at. So the video encoder is going to be, depending on whether you're on a Windows machine or an Apple. I'm on an Apple, so I'm using the Apple VT HEVC hardware encoder, and the audio encoder we're using the FFmpeg 32-bit float. Okay, rescale is disabled, and if we continue down a little farther, now these are your encoder settings. You want this on CBR, bitrate is 2500 kilobytes per second, and frame rate 0, profile main. So that basically sets everything up for your recording. And then we want to switch over to the audio tab. And you want to make sure that all these are set to 320. Okay, track 5 and 6, obviously we're not using track 5 and 6. We're only using basically track 1 and 2. So as long as those are set to 320, you'll be fine. Under replay buffer, you don't have to do anything here. Leave this the same. And streaming, we're not streaming, we're just recording for YouTube. So those are going to stay the same. Under video, this is going to be your canvas size. Now, I've just used the 16:9 aspect ratio, setting it to 1920 by 1080. And same with the output scale. Okay, this is a perfect resolution for YouTube. All right, now let's add a image in behind us so that we can have a little different background. So the way you're going to do that is you're going to go down to the bottom, you're going to hit the plus sign, and you're going to go to image, and we'll just name this Enterprise. And now you want to find the file that you had saved on your computer. So I'll grab my picture here. And there we go. We have our picture, and you hit OK. Now you want to adjust the image to your window size. And like I said before, if you hold the shift key, you can drag that right out to the perfect size. But now you see we have our background, but we can't see me anymore. So what you want to do is you want to move your camera above your image. So if you click on the camera, and you use these little arrows down at the bottom, or you can just drag it up above. Okay, if we drag it up above, okay, and put the camera on top. So now we have ourself here. We're going to have to resize this. So if I hold the shift key and I drag this down, now I can get us in the bottom corner of the screen. So we have our background, and now we have our video of ourselves. You also can add what they call masks on this. So if you want a different shape, here we have just a rectangle, but if you see on a lot of videos, a lot of times they'll have a circle. So you'll have to download the plugin from the OBS site. It's called Advanced Mask. So what you want to do is go down to here to the filters, and you have effects filters. So if I hit plus and we go to advanced mask, okay, you hit OK. And now you have a bunch of different options here. You have shape, and this is a rectangle. We're going to make this a circle. Okay, so now we can see a preview window here. This one here will center it according to what you are. And we also want to do the size first. So let's bring up the size. Let's get a little bigger. Here we go. We're going to bring us like this. All right, now that we have it all centered on our screen, using our center X and center Y to position it, and our radius to make it larger or smaller. Then you're going to hit close, and there we go. And now if you want to make it bigger on the screen here, you just again hold the shift key and we'll just drag that up a little bit. Move it up on the screen. We can drag that out and we'll put it right down the bottom here. So right here in the bottom corner. So there we go. And if you hit the transition button, it will then bring it up on our output. So this is what's going to be recorded to our file when you start recording. And now we're all set with that. Now let's bring in some text. So I'm going to hit the plus button and we're going to go to text, free type 2, and we'll write here text. All right. And now we're going to select the font. So you can pick any style of font you want. Let's find one that's a little appealing. Here's a little something different. Katy Berry. Okay, and we'll hit OK. We're going to type in our text and we'll go OBS tutorial. There it is. And we hit OK. Now we can drag this wherever we want. And like I said, use your shift key. You can drag this out all across the top. We can make it smaller, bring it a little more. Oops, grab the wrong one. And make sure that you have the box highlighted. And there you go. Let's drag that down a little bit. OBS tutorial. And now you have your text in. And when you're recording, and like I said, if you hit the transition key, so this is our preview window. You hit the transition, there it is. So this is what's going to be recording out to our recorded file. And if you don't want the text to be shown, you can just unclick your little eye here and hit transition and it goes away. Same thing, if we didn't want the background, you could go and click the little eye, hit transition. Now it's gone away. Same thing, if you want to bring it back, hit the eyes again, hit transition, and everything's back. So this is really handy, especially if you have text, say you're doing little presentations and you need text in different spots. You can do these ahead of time and then just turn them on and off in your sources window. So that's the basics of setting up OBS in general. You can get a lot fancier with this. Obviously, there's a lot more that you can do, but this will get you the basics for recording video on YouTube. So if you found this video helpful, please make sure you like and subscribe, because here at Taylor Media, we're going to give you step by step. Okay, so make sure you help me out. The channel's new, subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.